dad's today. We're gonna make these angle brackets, and I'm gonna try to record so you guys can see exactly how I do these angles. Might not be professionally done where we know exactly the angle, but we will make sure that both of the brackets are the same, because these are basically the basis for the chair. So basically I made the 3 cuts at Home Depot, one shorter one. This is a 16-inch, I think this is a 2 foot, and this is a 2.4, I believe. So this is how they're going to be aligned, and then we're going to have to cut an angle on this plank, I believe, and then on this plank, and we're going to have to join all 3 of these together and do the same thing for this, making sure that both sides are equal. So this is what we're going to do today, just doing the brackets at my dad's house, and then we'll finish the whole chair when I get home. So I wasn't able to record at my dad's house, but these are the brackets that we did. I am going to list all of the measurements in the description box for those of you who are interested to know what each size is. The way we would do angles for each one, so I knew that from here to here, I wanted it to be 16 inches, so that's what I kind of measured it by. So I laid this plank right here over the top of this one and just made sure that this was 16, and I think this one was a little bit more than 9.5. But again, I'll put all the measurements in the description box so you know exactly how I did it. Then we cut this piece, and then basically measured out the second one. Then we secured it to each plank before we cut this last piece, because if you don't do that, then it's more than likely this is probably not going to turn out right if you cut it right away. So the way we secured it, we basically flipped it on its bottom right here. I did want to make holes in this thing. I really wanted to use dowels, but with dowels it can be a bit tricky, especially when it comes with angles. I'm not a professional, so I didn't want these boards to look lopsided, and I wanted to make sure that they were nice and sturdy. So we drilled holes into this, which is at the bottom. I'm still going to patch it up with a stainable, what is it called, filler. The only thing is it doesn't stain as well as it says that it should, but so that's why I kind of tried to make holes in places where it's a little bit more conspicuous. So we drilled holes in there and then put nice long screws all the way down. So these attached to these. So we did 3 over here. So basically we did this angle right here, and Toby's right on top of it, so I'll show you this one. So we secured this one first and made sure that the angle was correct on both the back side and the front. So again, the front was 16 inches long, or 16 inches high. And then we measured an angle that we need to cut this at, and then the width over here. And again, we drilled the hole here and screwed it into the side, and then we secured it from here down to here. So no dowels, all screws. I just have to do some patchwork. These angles honestly are the longest part of the chair, because it's kind of meticulous. You have to make sure that you do it correctly. So I aligned them up like this. From basically they're going to be aligned like this. So this is the left side, that's the right side, and then I'm going to continue on with my next step, which is I'm going to attach basically the base for it, which is going to be a plank over here and a plank over here, and they're going to attach to both of the sides of these brackets, and we'll go from there. For the sides, basically for the bottom base is 2 feet long, and I measured it based on the cushion size right here. So depending on what size cushion you want to use, honestly, if you do a quirky size, you might have to have like a custom cushion, which will turn out too expensive. So I just went with a 2x2 top and bottom, and that's what I'm basing myself on. So even if you have Lowe's or Home Depot or whoever cut these, make sure you double check these. And as you can see, it's like by a 1/4 inch too long. So now I'm gonna have to cut this to make sure that both of these are the same. So make sure you double check this, because once you start attaching it, you'll start running into problems. So now I have to make this cut myself. Hopefully it will be straight. Again, double check everybody's work, because 1/4 inch is a big deal. I'm gonna go ahead and work with the one that's the right size. I went ahead and marked the center of the plank and used the drill bit appropriate for the dowel size that I'm using. So the dowel size that I'm using is right here. It's about this big. I actually bought a full kit that looks like this. You can get it for $5. I found it at Home Depot, I believe. I'm not really sure which section it was. It was not in the wood section. It was, I think, with all the hardware and all the nuts and bolts. You can get it for like $5. And what I like about it is that it came with a drill bit like this. And this is a trick that I learned, is you basically take the half of the dowel that you're using and put some tape on there, so you know exactly how deep you need to go on each side. That way you don't over drill, because if you over drill, you'll basically, the dowel will kind of hide in to one of the planks and it's just not going to work really well. So very helpful trick. So the kit basically comes with these two little things. So basically, once you drill the holes, you basically stick them in here like that. I think that the kit is called Doweling Kit. It basically helps you to start the know where to put the dowels, because that can be kind of tricky if you don't know how to do them, like me. So what I do is I usually measure out and put pencil marks so I know exactly where I'm putting it. I'm gonna try to do this with one hand while I'm trying to do these dowels. So you basically put it on a piece of wood, and that pencil mark helps me put basically see where exactly this plank needs to go. So I put it on top, make sure that it's nice and flush on both sides like that. And then basically, I don't know, I think I was just hiding everything with my hand. So you put it on top, and my pencil mark actually helps me to place my plank in the correct place. Before I basically put the dowels, that kind of just eases the process a lot quicker. So as you can see, the line right there, it's ready. And then I'm gonna see if I can get this. Toby, let me see this. So basically, again, you align this. Toby, can you move? I don't know if that recorded or not, but basically these little dowel starters help you to mark the next place right here. So it gives you a direction for your drill bit to drill in the correct place, so that when you actually install these, they work and they're not off center or anything like that. So this is a great way if you have, you know, it's a lot quicker than trying to figure out exactly where these dowels are going. I've always had issues doing these. So when I saw somebody use these, I was like, I need to find these. $5 is not bad for something that you constantly do. They come out pretty easily, just like that. So now I have to drill the holes in here, and then we can add some glue to it and install the dowels. Okay, so now that the dowels are in and both of the sides of the seats are drilled, make sure that they're the proper sides and they are ready to be assembled. So this is going to be the front piece of the base, and then I'll show you how to do the back side of the base. So we're getting it done. So it's actually the second hardest thing is the base, and then everything after that is pretty simple and a lot quicker to do. So let's get on with attaching this. No. Toby, no. So I also bought these black brackets. I didn't see these before when I did my big sofa. So I'm a little disappointed because the ones that I have are like the silver color. The only thing that I couldn't find black was these long. I also used glue and the dowels to secure this in place. I also am using brackets to really give it nice sturdy support. So I've got these bigger brackets here and then a smaller bracket at the bottom. And then we are ready to attach the second piece right here to the second base. And then we'll work on the second plank for the actual base. But this will definitely give it secure. It won't move around, and it will actually dry the glue up better. If you have clamps, you can do clamps too and not have any of these brackets, but I just feel like it's going to give extra support, and then I kind of like expedites the whole process. But that's just my opinion and how I'm actually doing the seat. So let's attach the second part of this chair to this plank right here. What you want to do is measure out 2 feet from the end of the first one, and that's going to tell you where to put your second one. And the reason it's 2 feet is because, like I said, the cushions are 2 by 2, so I want to make sure I have plenty of space for them. So the top and the bottom brackets, oh, I'm missing one more right there, are secured. So once that's done, I'm going to flip it over and going to start on the back, as well as marking where I need to put my inner boards so that they can hold a couple of planks for the support of the cushion. So I need to put one more over there, and we're well way on our way. So pretty much the base of it is complete. So is I bought these fencing posts, I guess that's what you would call them, for the porch. You can get them different lengths, or you can get them already pre-cut for ready to go on the porch. But I got just like a 4-foot one, and I had them cut it in 2 because it's 2 foot 2-foot sections right here. So I already installed one. It's literally right up to the board here. So I'm giving room for the slats and then for the cushion to come in here so that it doesn't slide out. I was gonna secure it with some nails that I could beat in, but apparently I didn't buy the right nails. They were the same right size, so I just used screws. It is what it is. So I attached this one, and the next one I gotta attach is, they will go under these brackets right here to the back, and that's exactly where the slats will go. I used fencing or decking posts, had them cut it 2 feet on each side. Then I aligned it with the first plank here, and then the second plank, giving space for the slats to go in, and then some space for the cushion to go in so it doesn't slide out. So I only needed 3 for this one. Once I finish the backing, then I'll staple these slats into place. I also started measuring the back piece, so the back portions are 2 feet long as well, and I'm just cutting an angle at which it's going to be slanted. And then once this one's cut, I can measure out the second one and then attach it using a screw that's going to go through the plank into this wood, and then these brackets that I'm placing like this. I did the same thing for the futon just to give it more so it's more sturdy. So the screw's gonna go there, and then the 3 screws are gonna go into the actual corner backing. That way it's nice and sturdy when everybody's sitting on it. So let's get on with the backings. Were attached, basically drilled a hole here, inserted a really long screw, and then put these brackets on that help to straighten it and fasten it a little bit harder. So both of these ends are done, and now I'm doing the top. I have to cut it, and then I'm going to screw 2 screws at the top to secure it. Then we're going to attach a thin piece of wood to hold the slats at the top, and then we just insert the slats, and this chair is ready to be stained. So this is the progress. Stain this is usually in the evenings or in the mornings. So it's morning time. I'm letting the kids play out in the playhouse. So I'm going to go ahead and stain it. Staining usually doesn't take that long, probably 30 minutes. I'm probably going to do 2 coats because that's what I did with this piece right here. So yesterday I assembled it. I showed you pretty much most of the steps that I did. And then I sanded it down, I patched it, and finished sanding down these patch places where I had the nails to secure the brackets, or the bases, I guess that's what you would call them. So the only thing I need to do is stain this and then stain the little slats, and this is the stain for it. This was $16, but it actually lasted me to do this piece right here, and then I still have plenty more to do this one. So it's a waterproofing wood finish, just in case if these are ever outside, or if they're, you know, prone to moisture, they're going to be protected. And this one is cedar natural tone, so this is what they look like right here. So you want to shake it really well, and then I buy these small inexpensive 98-cent brushes. A lot of times the bristles come off, but I like how soft the bristles are, and you know, I don't feel bad about throwing it away, but a lot of times I'll wash it. Like this was a stain that I did, and after I stain it or use it for a stain, I basically just wash it with really hot water and then dry it, and it's usually still in good condition for me to reuse again. So sometimes I reuse it several times, and again, it's only 98 cents. They sell it in the paint section. You can pick those up, they're pretty cheap. So I have several of these that I keep, just, and I actually have different sizes, but I don't think all of them are 98 cents. This specifically one is 98 cents. It's like a good size brush for these kind of projects right here, because you can get into small spaces, but can still have, you know, it'll be quicker for you to do a quick coverage. So I was going to use a foam roller, but there's just so many little creases that you have to get the stain in. It's just better to just use one tool. So let's go ahead and get started on the staining process. Ladies and gentlemen, is the first coat. One thing that I have to say with the stain, you have to work really quickly. You can't just paint part of it and then leave it alone, because the stain is very thin, so it's very watery. So whenever you spread it around, you know, it's really hard to keep it in one section without it going to another section. And then if you leave it alone, a lot of times what happens is these things kind of set in. As you can see right here, I don't like that. I'm gonna do another coat. This is only a top coat, so hopefully that will kind of hide. And that's the inside of the chair, so you're not gonna notice it as much, but that's what can happen to any of the areas of the chair, so you have to be careful. So I try to get it to places where, you know, it's hard to reach, like the bottom, and then kind of inside, outside, kind of around the rim. You just kind of have to paint as you go, but you have to do it really quickly. Like I said, it dries pretty quickly, so you want to make sure that it's blended in throughout the whole chair. But this is what it looks like, and I'm about to paint the slats.